Hello, and welcome to Round Glass. My name is Lisa Kring. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I'm a longtime committed practitioner of Vipassana Buddhism. And I'm just so happy to be here right now live with you. And I just want to give you a deep bow, honoring your presence and joining me for this meditation session on healing trauma through practices that involve what is called resourcing. So trauma really affects us at the nervous system. And these different practices that I've been offering, they all operate in calming and healing the nervous system. And in resourcing, we'll be doing this through meditative practices that involve images and connections to aspects of our experience that give us stability and internal safety. So let's just go ahead and get started. I'd like to just say a few words about the practice before we get started, and just offering a question. And you please feel free in the chat. It's such a beautiful thing to be practicing together in community. So feel free to share with each other as we reflect together before we move into this very deep and healing practice. And the question really is, do you know what it is? Do you know what it is to feel unsafe? And just let that drop down and resonate for yourself and see what resonates in answer to that question. And I think all of us on some level know what it is to feel unsafe, especially this past year of such uncertainty, of such injustice and division. It can really take its toll on our well-being. And so it's so important to realize that this last year for all of us in different ways was traumatic. It was traumatic for all of us in one way or another. And in order to heal the nervous system, because as I was saying, it really lands and reverberates in the nervous system, almost on a level of the animal body. We need to find ways to internally resource and mindfully connect to supportive energies, supportive figures and forces that perhaps are always available to guide and protect us internally and perhaps even beyond. So in this trauma-sensitive meditation, I will be inviting you to resource, to actively internally resource through supportive and protective images. So everything that I'll be offering, just allow it to drop in and just see what unfolds. It's just a really healthy invitation to try this on and to see what shows up that might be really there always to support you. I'm going to be inviting you to access supportive ancestors, beings, and languages and even spaces that perhaps are all waiting for you to simply tap into whenever you are feeling unsafe or uncertain. How does that sound, everyone? So once again, inviting you to please share in the chat. And anything that you'd like to say, anything that you know what it feels like to be unsafe. Someone did share that very seldomly do they feel unsafe, but they didn't like it, yeah. Well, hallelujah and deep bow to you if you very seldomly feel unsafe. That's really beautiful and very, very happy for you. Also, others share that they know the feeling and it can be isolating. It really can. When we feel unsafe, we can feel alone. And that's why these resourcing practices restore healthy and supportive connectivity, interconnectivity that makes us feel that we are protected. Someone shared feeling physically unsafe and that it's really hard, but feeling emotionally unsafe is even worse. Yes, perhaps you all can reflect if you resonate with that, if you agree with that. So these practices that I'll be offering right now for you are for both establishing safety whenever you feel physically or emotionally or mentally unsafe in any way. These restore healing to the nervous system. So as we practice, if any questions do come up, you can share it in the chat. Please do. What I'll be offering, I'm a certified trauma-sensitive mindfulness teacher. So this really comes from research. There's really something to this. There's a lot of healing going on right now for everyone in various ways for trauma-centered healing. So this is really building on all of this incredibly important work that's really coming into the world right now. So just for a moment, you can feel into perhaps the gratitude that you can be here to receive this and receive some healing. So let's begin. And this does take the form of a traditional meditative practice. So I invite you to just now shift and begin to drop in and to feel into. This is about really shifting into feeling. Why don't you take a moment to establish for yourself, and this is really trauma-sensitive practices are really about offering agency and choice. This is really about you tuning in for yourself into what you need, what feels best for you. So I'd love to empower you to feel into a posture for the body right now that feels grounded and as stable and as safe as possible. Go ahead and feel free to surround yourself quite literally with anything that feels really stabilizing for you. You can bring in objects. You can wrap yourself in a blanket. You know, anything that establishes a feeling of being taken care of and nurtured. All of these operate and are really read by the nervous system. So go ahead and bring in anything you need, pillows, you can lay down, and make sure that you're in an area wherever you are, where you can feel relatively undisturbed, that you can rest and develop and tap into what you need for safety right now. So when you feel ready, and we'll take a moment just to orient into where we are. As before, we will close our eyes if that feels comfortable. You don't have to close your eyes. Once again, this is really finding what works best for you. If keeping the eyes slightly open, a soft gaze down on the floor, if that feels better, you can, of course, do that. But let's just start just by very gently gazing around the room wherever you are and just take in, this is called orienting. This is also another part of trauma-sensitive mindfulness practice. Go ahead and orient into where you are and really take in whatever, especially that as you look around, what feels, no matter how ordinary, what feels supportive and comforting to you. It can be images, books, photographs, even colors. If you are inside, to really take in whatever is protective around you and to really feel. Allow the body to register the truth that right now the body is protected in any way, and to really notice and feel into those conditions all around you. And as you do, begin to notice how it begins to shift and calm the nervous system, the soft animal body. And let that really drop in for a moment. We're learning to ground and orient and resource in the present moment all of those conditions that feel supportive to balance with the uncertainty of life. So take it in deeply, all that's around you that feels safe and supportive and stable. And when you feel ready, you can, if you choose, to close your eyes. If it feels stable enough, you've really registered the safety of the space, and gently close your eyes when you feel ready. As you close your eyes, if you've chosen to do that, just allow this quality of knowing awareness to rest in the body as a whole, feeling the aliveness of the body, the warmth of the body, the life of the body. Take a moment, if you like, to take a nice deep breath in, really drinking in the breath. And as you do, feel the support of the breath. It's always here, always flowing in your direction, providing life, nourishment, support with every breath. And do feel the support of the breath. Breathing in this way can be an experience of resourcing. Really actively tapping into, as you breathe in, really feeling the truth, not in the abstract, but feeling the truth of this breath that keeps you alive, sustained. And take as many cleansing breaths as you like. And as you do, really spend some time breathing out, slowing that down. When we do focus on the out breath intentionally in mindful awareness in this way, just feeling it, really letting go in the body, it does calm the nervous system. And you can see if you notice that in real time, right now. Letting go and resting. And begin to allow now the mind to rest in the body as the body rests on the earth. And we'll take just a few minutes to settle and ground before we move into some resourcing practices. See if you can drop down into the grounded experience of the body. Just allow the awareness to begin to gently shift down into the lower half of the body, connected to the earth. Sense into those points of contact that literally meet the earth. And for a moment, just allowing the whole body, which is true and real right now, to allow the whole body to simply rest, held and cradled and completely supported by the earth. See if you can let go into the support and connection of the earth. If you like, you can take a few deep breaths to support this process of grounding. It's very stabilizing once again to the nervous system. And every time you breathe out, see if you can release even more and more into the embrace of the earth. The connection to the earth. as you rest in this way, beginning to settle, see if you can naturally now notice any regions or areas of the body that are calm, stable, and still and peaceful right now. You can allow yourself to discover where you can rest right now naturally in the body. Perhaps it is in that palpable experience of gravity as the body meets the earth, the weight of the body being held. Or perhaps you can just simply rest in the peace of the hands. When we can get out of our own way and ground and orient and rest mindfully in the present moment, the body's natural state is ease and calm, and this can be a real refuge. So rest. And if you like, in support of this experience of just resting in the body, you can just allow the natural rhythm and flow of the breath. Allow those gentle waves of breath that are always that resource of life supportive flow, always flowing through the body. Allow that to support more and more ease and calm in the body. So when you feel relatively stable and present, embodied, resting in any region of the body where you can just be at rest. Stable, relatively calm. And from this place, we'll begin to cultivate some resourcing. We'll do that by inviting an image, and you can just to see what these are all just humbly offered. You can just see what naturally arises and see if you can just trust the unfolding of the practice. But just tapping into perhaps an image of a place in your mind's eye where you can really just be in relative stability and calm. And this can be a place that you've been to firsthand, or it can be a place that spontaneously emerges from your imagination, from your own heart, from what's wisest and most healing within you. So when this image begins to emerge, you can just allow it to move into vivid focus and place yourself into this image as if you are actually there. right now, bringing it to life, the colors, the smells, any sensations, sounds. Maybe there's a lot of stillness. And notice as you just allow yourself to rest, resourcing this image of a place of calm, perhaps of relative safety. And notice how it allows the heart, the mind, the body to let go, to heal, to repair and restore balance. As you rest in this place, then continuing to resource and once again playing with any of these invitations. Really, you can actually always, always make this your own. So trusting what unfolds that is best for you. Let's see if you can also now, resting in this stable and relatively calm place. If you like, you can invite any ancestors. These are ancestors that are supportive and protective. These are figures that perhaps are always present, that are guiding and supporting you. And it can be so interesting to open to that invitation and just to notice what shows up and what you feel. These can be ancestors that you are familiar with, but they can also be ancestors that you may not be directly familiar with by name. And yet they are there, holding, protecting, and guiding you in this life, keeping you safe. Okay, thank you. Just noticing that there might have been some technical issues, so I'll continue and hoping the practice wasn't interrupted. I'm not quite sure, but I'll continue. So, as I was saying, really feeling ancestors, any that may be around you that perhaps have any words or gestures or objects in support for you right now in your life. And really taking this in. And if you feel intuitively that you would like to respond or show any thanks or gratitude, anything that feels appropriate, to let that unfold. Whatever feels natural and supportive to you. Lastly, along with ancestors that we can invite as protective, as supportive, as guides for us, you can also invite any spiritual figures that you resonate with deeply. Could be from any religious tradition, wisdom tradition. And just bringing it all in. So for this last minute of this experience of resourcing, feeling all of these aspects, bringing them all in to establish more stability and safety, guidance and protection. Feeling into the space that you're in, any aspects that are safe right now. The breath that you are breathing right now, feeling that. Connecting to the support of the earth. Also, aligning with and inviting an image of a place that feels within your own mind's eye, within your own heart, a place, an imaginary place where you can feel safe and relatively stable and calm. And of course, any ancestors, spiritual guides, bringing them in as well. So you might want to say goodbye to any figures or beings who have really shown up in support for you right now, giving them a deep bow, knowing they're always here. And in this last minute or so of this resourcing practice, just reflecting. What did you notice about this experience? What was it like? Were you surprised by any ancestors who did arrive? Did they have meaningful information that was important for you right now? And could you find an image, a place where you could just rest? And is that an image that you can resource and tap into in your life? Just to find balance in the body, heart, mind. Through these really lovely and simple ways of restoring inner support, always available whenever you're aware and connected in this way. So I'm going to ring the bowl just to end this practice for now. So I'll just share, and I know our time is done, but whenever I do this practice, I'm always surprised by the ancestors that show up, often from different lines of my families of origin. Often my father shows up, very protective, always there to watch out for me. He's no longer living, and so it's an incredibly reassuring experience when I tap into his protective energy. It really changes the way I feel in that moment. So if there's any questions at all, please feel free to put them in the chat. If not, just want to thank you so, so deeply for your presence, for your courage, and remember that you can meditate with Round Glass live every single day. So join us again tomorrow, same place, same time. You can always check us out at round.glass and on the app. And I'll be back next Wednesday for my next live session, offering compassion. Until then, may you be well, may you feel safe and protected in every moment. Thank you so much.